there are very few profitable poker players out there.
Right.
And it's sort of the 1849 phenomenon where it's like
where
the 49ers would go out to strike it rich, and the idea was that it really isn't the guys panning for gold in the river who get rich, but it's the guys who sell the picks and shovels.
Yeah.
And those are the guys who are making money.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just a sort of like a statistical underdog.
Yeah.
Some people strike it rich, but for the most part, the money is being sucked out of the system.
Yeah.
When the pandemic happened and we finally figured out, my group of guys finally figured out after a couple of months, a way to sort of resurrect our poker game on an app and then Zoom, and sort of everybody was so happy to see each other and play. And then all of these online games started popping up. And at first everybody was playing for free. And then a couple of people started figuring out like, oh, I'll just charge, $20 to sit down. And a guy we knew, a pretty smart guy, just said, I'm just going to start running a game every night and charging, I don't remember what it was, whether it was 20 or 40 or $100 to play. And he was kind of shocked that he was making a ton of money out of this. And he had said to me, well, I'm happy this is going on. But he said, it's in 6 months, this will be over. I said, why? And he was like, because I'm the big winner. I don't play and I'm the big winner.
Picks and shovels.
So he's taking money out of the game. The resources are going to dry up. The game's going to go away, and it has a finite existence.
Yeah.
So that's where poker is very weird, is that even when you're at a friendly game, whether you're playing for dinner or the dealer or whatever, like it's very hard to be a profitable poker player.
Yeah.
I've been playing with the same group of guys, give or take, for 30 years. And where the games were filled with conversations about who we're dating and where we're traveling and the drugs we're doing and the sort of aspirational ideas of where our careers are heading. And now we talk a lot about colonoscopies and, echocardiograms and things. And it's funny because you'll mention something. It's like, oh, geez, I just had that. And it's like, okay, so now we're back in the community of like-minded, sufferers. Poker has been, while I wouldn't call it the sort of my favorite period of my life, it was the most consistent entree to any aspect of a new environment that I had ever been exposed to. So anytime I went somewhere new, anytime I was in a new city or whatever, you can find a game and instantly become ingratiated into a community. And then now you've got a guy who's got your phone number, and it's the best. It was the best entree for me to Hollywood. That's sort of how I got an agent and how I sort of have a B-list writer career, is like just
You're modest.
So I don't know. I like poker was sort of a superpower. It was great before there became a poker industrial complex that was sort of profiteering off people's misery and going bankrupt and broke. There was something wildly romantic about the idea that you have a chosen profession that is an extraordinary skill, because even though poker is becoming more and more algorithmic, there is art to this. There's reading people. There is gut feelings that are, your spidey sense. And I always found it incredibly romantic that if somebody, Nixon financed his first campaign through poker winnings from the Pacific. Like there were people who were good at this and made a living honestly. And I always loved that. And now that it has become corporatized and sponsored and all this kind of stuff, it's like any industry, it's so stacked against the little guy that when people tell me that they aspire to doing this, I'm like, dude, do anything else.
Yeah.
Unless you're selling the picks and the shovels, you're going to get crushed.
It's a good metaphor.
What would I say to an 18-year-old kid? Like I've got a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old who are interested in poker, and I want them to be interested enough that they are good at the game, but I don't want them to be interested enough that they would actually consider playing it regularly.